Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, this is the Symmes Township Zoning Commission meeting of April 19th. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Eichmann?
Here.
Mr. Kessler?
Here.
Ms. Fields? Here.
Great. Can we have a approval of the agenda for tonight? A motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
I will motion to approve tonight's agenda.
A second?
Second.
Okay.
What was that? Mr. Eichmann?
Yes.
Mr. Kessler?
Yes.
Ms. Fields? Yes.
Okay. And going back to October 19th, 2022, we have minutes to approve. So can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for October 19, 2022.
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Eichmann?
Yes.
Mr. Kessler?
Yes.
Ms. Fields? Yes.
And we also have meeting minutes of February 15th. I will note that I have made a couple of changes to those. So in case you're keeping score, on page 4, there were two paragraphs where the first one said Miss Cullen, and it should be Mr. Snyder. Right down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th paragraph down. And then the same thing where it says Mr. Reichman, it should say Mr. Snyder. And Kelly and I have discussed that, and she's made those meeting minute changes. Somebody actually reads these.
I read it. I didn't catch that.
I wasn't at that meeting, but can I still vote in favor of it just so we can move it forward?
I don't think so.
I don't think so?
Yeah,
Okay. So then we're just gonna have to
I think
table
we
that.
have to, we'll have to table
Yeah.
this.
All right, so we'll table these. All right.
Do we need to vote on that?
I don't think we need a vote now. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just
pass.
table it and do it the next one. All right. Public hearings. So our first public hearing, our only public hearing, is Symmes 2003-02 Hearthstone River's Edge Retaining Wall. Can we hear from staff?
Yes, good evening, Brian Snyder, Hamilton County Planning and Development. You should all have a copy of the staff report for this case. This project is part of the larger community unit plan that was approved in 2003. It's been under construction in some capacity since that time. There have been a number of modifications to CUP granted over the course of the development. The most kind of apt modification that was granted were 10 lots were approved for 0-foot side yard setbacks for retaining walls to allow construction of side entry garages along Jerome's Way. Jerome's Way runs along Wolf Run Creek. It's fairly steep and it's had other modifications granted as well for setbacks and other things. This request is for a retaining wall for a side entry garage with less setback than required as well. This is for to allow a 7-foot retaining wall with a 5-foot setback. The zoning resolution requires 2 feet setback for every foot in height. So a 7-foot retaining wall is required to be 14 feet from the property line. So they're asking for a 9-foot setback variance. Because this is a CUP, this is a FDP modification, not a variance to the BZA, so that's why we're here. Staff did review the resolution of approval from the Symmes Township trustees for this site. And find no issues with the conditions from the trustees. Findings on page 3 of the staff report discuss the issue. The retaining wall, as stated, was required to be set back 14 feet. There were some issues raised. It is pretty close to the property line. It's pretty close to the house to the north. There's a limited amount of room for any landscaping or stormwater mitigation. However, this will be required to also go through a building permit approval process, and at which time stormwater and infrastructure will look at it and make sure that the private drainage easements, if any, are maintained and that the water from this development, this wall will be handled appropriately. Everything kind of slopes off to the back of both properties, so it's not likely that that'll be an issue. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. That's all I have. If you have any questions, I've got an answer.
Okay, thank you.
A quick question for you, Brian. When I was looking at the photo here, I haven't been to the site. I wanted to. I presume that a driveway hasn't been installed as of yet, other than just the gravel?
Correct. I don't believe so. It wasn't at the time we took this photo.
And as I look at this, any idea how far the edge of the gravel is from the property line? Is that within 14 feet?
I'm gonna guess that the silt fence is pretty close to the property line.
Okay. And I think one of the options that you suggested was the property owner could achieve what they wanted by coming up with a workaround?
There are always options. The need for the wall to extend as far to the property line is related to maneuverability, I'm sure, people backing in and out, or pulling in and backing out of the garage. You could make that shorter, you could extend further into the rear yard, however, that's just gonna make the retaining wall taller. The further away you push it from the property line, the lower the front of the retaining wall is, but the further back you push it, the higher the retaining wall is gonna be. So I don't know if there's any way they could get to 2 feet for every foot in height and still have the maneuverability area that they're looking for. You could always pull it and back straight out all the way down the driveway if it kind of curved into the house, but
If we would deny it, and they had to be 14 feet from the property line, I presume the measurement instead of 30 feet would be 21 feet? I mean, is that reasonable, or is that?
it's hard to say because the further back they go, the lower the wall would be, the closer it would be. At some point, they push the wall back, the wall height comes down, and they hit that 2 feet for every foot in height. It's not necessarily 14 feet because it wouldn't necessarily have to be 7 feet tall if they pushed it back then. So it's hard to say.
Thank you.
So, on where the retaining wall is proposed to be, is a 14-foot drop on the backside of the retaining wall?
I believe it's a 7 foot.
Or 7 foot. So is there any consideration for putting a railing or anything like that, to provide safety from falling off of a 7 foot?
I believe that they're going to have to for the building department's requirements, but they'll have to comply with the building code.
Okay.
With their building permit.
Okay. Any questions for Brian?
No, I don't.
All right, Brian, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So now we'll hear from the applicant. If you can come up, state your name and your address for the record.
Steve Schniggy, 991 Paxton, Level 11.
Okay.
For some reason, when we applied for the permit, I assumed since the wall and the fence, everything was on the flat plan, that it was approved by zoning. I didn't realize that there was a rule that you have that, doesn't allow that. I also thought that if this would have been the case, my engineer would have probably said something about it, but he didn't.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm just ignorant. But driving through the subdivision, there are probably at least 4 houses that have the exact same situation. That was prior to whatever zoning requirement you changed recently. But I took some pictures of these properties just to give you an idea of what they look like, and what we're going to do is going to be pretty much the same thing.
Okay.
So if that helps.
It doesn't hurt.
I took 2 copies of 3 different ones.
Oh, thank you.
So it's pretty much going to be the same situation. We're going to start at 0, and when we get to the back corner, it's going to be 7 feet out of the ground. And then across the back of his property is going to be the same amount. And we're going to have the same basic
Railing.
fence railing at the top of the wall for safety.
Right.
These were actually done probably 6-7 years ago, I would imagine. So there was no requirement for a variance or a, so yeah, at the end of the day, there's probably, at this point, no way to utilize this driveway and this garage if the retaining wall is not built. So, I mean, it's pretty much what I have to say, but yeah.
These are from homes in that same development?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, they're
Thank you.
on the main drive. If you go into the subdivision, they're on the main drive on the left side. And that also, and then that whole street falls away into the creek.
Right.
Same situation to this.
Thank you for bringing these in, because it puts things in perspective for me. One concern that I had was from the neighbor's standpoint, and I think there's a staff report as to, is it so close that it's going to be an issue for the adjoining neighbor? And there was a potential suggestion of adding landscaping to block that or shield it a little bit.
Well, if you look at their home, all of their,
Back to the podium so we can...
yeah, no problem. All of their driveways on the left side, all of their porches, everything is on their left side. So from their living space, it's a pretty good distance away from the retaining wall. I don't see it that it's going to be a hindrance or unsightly for them. And there is room that we could plant some landscape at the bottom of the wall to soften the retaining wall. If you know, I'm always willing to work with any homeowner I'm building with, and the building next to. In fact, I respect them as much as I respect, my house site. Yeah, this got passed me out of that.
I have a quick question for Brian. You said that there's another area within this development that allows for retaining walls, to be on the setback?
Yes.
It's just not allowed on this road?
Right, there were, the builder for lots 10 through 19, probably the lots that you got pictures of, went through this same process in 2007 to get a variance for all 10 of those lots at one time. I'm not sure if he built them all like that, so, but the ones that you're looking at are part of the ones that went through this process and got the modification from the zoning commission in
Okay.
2007.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, in that case, we'll close.
Is there other comments?
Pat, do you want to mention anything? Come on up and state your name and your name and address.
Pat Mangan, my current address.
Whatever
one.
address you'd like to give us.
It's 6739 Sterling Court. So I've met the neighbor next door, we actually know him, and we did talk about landscaping there. He's aware that what's going in, and but it seems fine. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll close the public hearing at this time, and commissioners, any questions or comments or discussion? I mean, seems pretty.
Yeah, I don't have anything in particular, but it's pretty clear that there's precedent within this neighborhood, and due to the elevation, this is necessary to allow this homeowner to back out of their garage. Yeah, they could probably redesign it a couple feet, but I'm not sure that would make a huge difference.
Right, I don't know that that's kind of within our ability to make those suggestions. I mean, we could, but I don't know that it.
Yeah, I certainly see a need for it.
Right.
And honestly, if the adjoining neighbor had shown up and raised a squawk and was adamant that they don't want to see this on their side of the property, it has some sway. But the fact that the neighbor didn't show up sends a lot to me.
Right.
It speaks a lot
Yeah.
to me, and then you're indicating that they don't have a problem with it, which I can only assume since you're not here.
Right.
So, I mean, we've done it in the neighborhood. It's certainly justified, and no one's complaining about it. So, from my perspective, I don't know if I have a problem this way.
Okay. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll do it. I'll make a motion to approve Symmes
2003.
2003-02 as submitted.
I'll second that.
Mr. Reichman?
Yes.
Mr. Kessler?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
We have no old business, no new business, no administrative matters. Motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. Kelly, one
Mr.
last.
Reichman?
Yes.
Mr. Kessler?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
All right.
Kelly, do we have a